We have watches up to 70,000 cities. I think the highest we've sold is 70,000 cities. And we had some watches for 7,200. We have watches for 3,500. We have these little shock moments, like a watch for 7,000 cities, and someone comes and wants to buy 30 pieces of it. My name is Anthony Jamehe. I'm the founder, CEO of Caveman Watches. We are a Ghanaian watch brand, made in Ghana watch brand. We are a made in Ghana watch brand with global standards, Caveman Watches. We are the only company in Ghana making watches. Yes. The light bulb moment came from trying to make ends meet, basically. I mean, sometime 2015, I didn't have a job then, just trying to, look for opportunities anywhere that I could. And I just chanced upon the need to buy a wristwatch for the first time in my life. And I had 50 cedis at the time to buy the watch, and I couldn't afford it. The watch was 150 cedis. So I left the shop and I went online and saw somebody selling a watch for 50 cedis. So I purchased that watch with the intention of using it. But when I took a picture of it and somebody showed interest in it, then I sold it. So I made some profit from that. I used that profit to buy 2 more of the watches. I sold 2, and then I bought 3, and I sold 3, and I bought 4. That was a light bulb moment for me, generally, that I could, make a living out of selling watches. The attributes of an entrepreneur to be able to identify opportunities. I identified that there were people selling watches, but they were selling watches and other things. And I thought about, wait, could there be somebody, myself, who would become known for only watches, nothing else? So it was a very hard decision to make, because you're a young guy looking for money, but you're sacrificing every other thing that you could make money from and sticking to only watches. So it was a hard decision, but I realized there was no such company that was known for only watches. So that interested me. That was the gap that I found in the market, and I thought about building my market in that gap. And also, I think that was around the time that there was some news about some companies buying some gold watches for their staff or something. So it was quite interesting to me that, if I could become a company that other companies in Ghana would, source watches from for their employees or associates, that would be a good avenue. So all these things, drew my attention to that gap in the market, and I took that path. I was importing watches, all these brands from wherever. I was selling them in people's offices, at car parks, in traffic here and there, But I'm a very curious person, so I kept looking for African watch brands, and I couldn't find any. So I was a bit confused that there are thousands of watch brands in the world. How is none coming from Africa? And it confused me a lot, because I started learning watch repairs, and there were people who were veteran watch repairers, been doing this for like 40, 50 years. And I believe those people know inside out how watches work. So my question had been, if they knew so much, why had they never been curious enough to want to make one? It used to baffle me a lot that, we have the technical know-how. Why hasn't anyone been daring enough to want to make one? So when I'm curious about something, I want to pry in there. That's how my curiosity led me to taking an action to satisfy that. There was already a perception out here about locally made stuff, but it was very good for me that I came in gradually from selling other watches. So I learned a lot about watches in general. I studied the watch industry globally, I broke watches down. I knew the faults that watches had because I was repairing imported watches. And I knew a lot of them were not made with the African conditions in mind. So our heat conditions um, have different sorts of effect on the watches affecting their time telling accuracy. So I knew a lot about it before going, to make mine. So I think my time, the gradual process that I took in repairing, knowing a lot about the industry, made me have a very strong idea about the watch market generally. And I conducted a lot of experiments before introducing my brand. Experiments to reveal buyer preferences, the kind of names that buyers will lean to. I knew the type of watches that I sold quicker than others. So I had a very fair idea about buyer preferences and then the market perception and everything before I introduced my brand. There's a market for it. I knew what the market was like. I knew the kind of reaction that I would get from the public when I put some prices on the watches, and I was ready for all of it. I mean, I had been selling watches for years and years, so I knew I wasn't going to start looking for customers. I already had a database of customers. They trusted my expertise in watches, so it was kind of like hitting the ground running for me. So I wasn't too bothered about the reaction with respect to the prices. I knew the caliber of people who would buy this watch, the caliber of people that would buy the other watch. So I made sure to make watches in every category for different people. Okay, so basically I think there are three types of watch buyers. There's one buyer who buys a watch because of the aesthetic nature of it. Maybe I just want the watch to match with my white shirt or my blue pants. So he's buying the watch because of the fashion, the fashionality of it. There's another person buying the watch for functionality. Maybe I'm going diving, I need to buy a diver watch that can go, I'm looking at the atmospheric pressure that I can take underwater. So he's buying the watch because of the functionality, not necessarily the fashion. And then there's another type of watch buyer who is the watch collector, who is an investor. And these people also look for different things when they are buying a watch. They would lean more towards a limited edition watch because they want to keep it, and then the value of the watch increases with time. So these are the three different types of watch buyers. So whoever comes in here trying to buy a certain watch would have a reason for wanting to buy that. So for watch collectors, we know the kind of watches that will sell to them. They know the value of it. They don't complain about the price. If it's worth it, then they'll pay for it. I would I wouldn't mention figures really, but there have been sometimes we take a huge risk. I'm putting a watch together, and I know it will be quite expensive, so I bring. No, I wouldn't give a range, but we have watches up to 70,000 cedis. I think the highest we've sold is 70,000 cedis, and we had some watches for 7,200. We have watches for 3,500, 2,500, 1,500, 800 cedis, 300 cedis. So the range is very huge. So there was one particular watch that I put together. When I put it on display, somebody came in and I was trying to see his reaction about the price. So when I mentioned the price, then he was like, "Oh, okay, I want two." I was like, "Oh, okay." So we have these little shock moments, and like a watch for 7,000 cedis and someone comes and wants to buy 30 pieces of it. So there's a market for, there's something for everybody. Yeah, there's a watch for every budget, yes. Future plan. I think we are fairly a new company. I think we are 4 years now. We'll be having our 5th year next year. We have managed to partner with some iconic figures, some iconic names, maybe the Akons and the Don Jazzys and the others. We're looking to, affiliate our brand with more big names. We have partnered with DHL for international transactions. We ship all across the world, but predominantly the UK, the US, North Korea, Cameroon, different countries. But we are looking to, intensify that in the next few years and possibly have branches in other countries as well. So we are fairly new, but we are taking strides in that direction to have a very strong hold in as many countries as we can.